Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we are worldwide on the iHeartRadio network. Today is August the 3rd, 2016, and we say welcome again to the $1 Million Show on the iHeartRadio network. Over 250 million people in the listening platform. So thank you, iHeartRadio, for bringing our show on to you, the hottest growing sports show in the United States. I also want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners tweeting in from Latin America. I'm actually learning more Spanish, Big C, as well as London, England, Berlin, Germany, and the great country of Canada. And again, I told you we get some tweets from Australia, but also from Russia. And I was saying how we get tweets from Russia, and now we have a lot of their athletes being, suspended for, I guess, putting needles in the wrong parts of their bodies, Big C. But they've been tweeting in Charlton and Big C too, Big C. Your thoughts on Russia?
Well, Russian athletes, Charlton, have long forever out of the Eastern Bloc been accused of various improprieties and stuff.
Accused, yep.
Not only just doping, but gender alteration. They looked at that in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
A lot of Russian athletes, especially female athletes, would attend one Olympics and never show up again.
Yeah.
And, they had a basic test that they had back then, not like the sophistication that they run now through the laboratories, but not to be offensive to our great female listening audience, but
yeah,
a lot of those chicks were dudes back then.
Well, I tell you, it's so funny because, okay, now most men, you can admit this, okay? Most men, we have egos, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there was a time I recall, now this is before steroids became real. I remember playing just a pickup game of basketball against this girl. And I'm just going to say she looked like she was from the Eastern European bloc. Man, she was muscling me down low. She was backing me down. I thought I was playing against Shaq, Big C. And now when I get all this explanation about the blood doping that goes on with Russian athletes, I don't feel so bad that I got beat, Big C. Your thoughts on that?
Well, Charlton, if you think about the great rock and roll singer Steven Tyler, who did the song "Dude Looks Like a Lady," there was been a hit and a popular song throughout the world for decades.
Yeah.
But, it hit the nail on the head, when you look at these things.
Yeah.
And you think about the Olympics, the Olympics was really set up on amateur status. You go back over a century ago when they stripped the great Jim Thorpe.
Yeah.
Of his Olympic medals. Great American athlete, Native American, who won 3 or 4 medals at the Olympics, but he had played some minor league baseball, and they stripped him of his medals. Took some 90 years for the Olympic Committee to give it back to the family.
And that was a joke.
You think about it. When they gave it back, they already had professionals playing in the Olympics. Now, you tell me all those Eastern European bloc players, Charlton, and athletes, had a job. They call them, they said they were in the military.
Yeah.
That's the best paying military job in the world, was being in the Eastern Bloc back in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
But, all professional athletes now can participate in the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's a great world event. It's going to kick off on Friday. They're going to have Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian of all time, being the flag bearer for the United States, which I believe is a great, great honor.
Yeah.
But, and we all recall when Muhammad Ali lit the torch in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
Back in '96, probably one of the most memorable moments in Olympic history, Charlton.
Yeah, President Bill Clinton talked about how touching that was for him to see Ali in all of his class and his grace, even going through a challenge. Ali had that great, indomitable spirit. He kept fighting no matter what. And that's the great thing I love about Charlton and Big C Sports. And I also want to say that this segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Escalade, the standard of the world. And you can only get it there brand new. When you go down and test drive it, make them know that Charlton and Big C sent you. And if you've ever driven the Cadillac, you know it's very stable and it's very strong and it's a powerful engine, Big C. But you talk about being stable and strong. I go back to the great days of football, and we had Brian Piccolo. I think the song is called Brian's Song. Yeah.
Not to cut you off, but get me a shot of moonshine. I'll be stable and strong.
Okay. Well, I've tried that, Big C. It actually makes you forget. I mean, it makes me forget a lot of things. But you brought up something about, athletes and how they do things. Remember that great movie about Brian Piccolo and Gail Sears? Was it called Brian's Song?
Brian's Song, Charlton.
Yeah.
A movie that
Great
was
movie.
based back in the 70s. Wonderful movie. a real life-telling story, Charlton, of two great friends that worked in the NFL together, worked in the backfield together. And I'm going to take a little step forward here. A lot of people will remember Rocky Bly and Franco Harris.
Oh, yeah.
This tandem of running backs with the great Pittsburgh Steelers team. Well, prior to them, there was Brian Piccolo and Gale Sears.
Yeah.
The Kansas Comet and the
Thunder and Lightning.
White fullback.
Yeah.
That wasn't the great athlete, but Gale Sears made him a better athlete.
Yeah.
And his career was cut tragically short through cancer. But when you think about the two actors that were in the movie, you had Billy D. Williams, who played Gale Sears.
Yeah.
You had James Caan, who played Brian Piccolo.
Yeah.
Very touching story, Charlton, because the realism of it, he died of cancer at an early age.
Yeah.
Life, career cut short. But it showed how, even back in the 70s, Charlton, that athletes, not athletes, but actors wanted to be athletes.
Yeah, same thing.
They wanted to portray that role because they knew that was a life-projecting movie that they would be in, because everybody identifies with athletics, Charlton, on some level. It's the great parallel in life. We talk about money and finances, which makes the world go round.
Yeah.
But athletics, Charlton, is that parallel that everybody can deal with. And that was a wonderful movie because it was so touching and heartwarming about reality of where sports is, how important sports were back then, but how life is a precious tool that sports expects and represents.
Well, Big C, when we think about that, too, I love the fact that, with Charlton and Big C Sports, and again, we thank everyone with the iHeart Radio Network getting us on your program and worldwide. We got so many people that tweet out to what we're doing, really growing our platform. This is only our third week on iHeart Radio, Big C, but I've had so many people reaching out to us. I got a gentleman that does work with the Golden State Warriors. He actually did a lot of interviews with Stephen Curry and also some of the great, sports agents out there as well. And Draymond Green, he interviewed Kevin Durant. So we're going to be having some of those interviews coming up later in the year as we get closer to NBA basketball, Big C.
Well, Charlton, you talk about Draymond Green. You're not worried about Draymond Green nowadays. I look at Draymond Green, Charlton. He's becoming the modern-day Dennis Rodman of the NBA, Charlton, when you think about it.
Well, now listen. Go ahead, Big C. Go ahead.
Draymond was a second-round draft pick out of the University of Michigan.
Yeah. Michigan State. Michigan State, the
Spartans.
Spartans.
Was a second-round draft pick out of the Central Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And both of those guys came into the league as defensive stoppers, but they both had on and off the court problems during their career, whether it was physically assaulting somebody on the sideline, another player, off the court incidents. Draymond Green is in a beautiful situation in Golden State.
Yeah.
But he has to understand where he is.
Yeah, keep your pants up.
And he needs to compare with social medias we have nowadays, they watch him going into the bathroom, so he's got to be careful.
Well, see, and I kind of feel like Draymond knows what he's doing because we're talking about him. Because Hulk Hogan set the precedent when he had an affair with his best friend's wife, and somebody videotaped it. So someone had to show up with some flowers and a video camera, Big C. But that might sound a little bit funny, but the jury awarded him with $120 million for having an affair with his best friend's wife.
Yeah, but Charlton, this is a white and black thing. You got to be real careful when you look at that. Now, Vince Young was videotaped going into a strip club. He hasn't played in the NFL since then.
Yeah.
So it's a different parallel when we sit there talking about athletes and what they're going to receive. It's okay when you're somebody.
Yeah.
But, when you get too much negative publicity and, when you're looking at the Golden State's next season, people are saying, who's giving up shots?
Yeah.
They're almost edging their mind out of the door, on taking shots right now.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing, too, because they can score a lot. But before I get on that, I still want to touch on this thing because, if you're not in the news, then you're out of mind. And that's why we do our show, 5 days a week, Big C, and ESPN, they're on 7 days a week. But even though most of the hosts they work for a 5-day week schedule. But what I think about Draymond and taking, a picture, I think Brett Favre did the same thing, Big C. A lot of the guys, all it was is they were taking a selfie and the camera dropped down, Big C. It's not like...
Brett Favre was accused of that before selfies were big back when he was with the New York Jets, Charlton, in the early 2000s. Right. All of a sudden there was some secretary or intern saying that he had sent some inappropriate photographs of body parts to her. But, no one told her to open the picture up more than one time.
Right, exactly.
And then she, spread it off to everybody else. But, if there's things that occur in the athletic world, Charlton, that occurs in everyday life all the time.
Yeah.
But people polarize it when it's an athlete. If you get a DUI and you're an athlete, it's posted all over ESPN and Fox News within hours.
Yeah.
But if you get a DUI and you're a CEO in Bank of America, no one ever hears about it.
Well, Big C,
it goes away, Charlton.
Yeah.
So, but it lets you know the level of interest in athletes in America, Charlton. It's the most important thing that you can put on the blogger.
Yeah.
When you sit around and watch and listen to a lot of sports shows, they don't want to talk about the social activists of what athletes can bring.
Yeah.
They just want to talk about a score. But if an athlete gets in trouble, Charlton, they're the first to tell the story.
Oh, yeah.
Now, is that not a social consciousness?
I think you're right.
Social consciousness by these sports covering agencies?
Well, see, Big C, I think they're following what you've been doing. And I know Charlton and Big C Sports, our goal is to be the leader in keeping it real worldwide, not just in the United States. And I see our platform being copied over and over again because...
Jason Whitlock did it today. He stood up and talked about on Fox Sports how athletes... and athletics, Charlton, can be the social binder in America. I think we've been talking about that for the past couple of weeks.
Well, see,
but these guys try to sneak it in because they're on television saying, hey, this is the great denominator. We talked about Invictus yesterday of how the late Nelson Mandela took athletics to bring a country together.
Yeah. It is true.
It's all over everybody else today, Charlton. I appreciate plagiarism. Everybody does it in the media. Okay?
Well, it's funny.
But the way they go on with this stuff, this is a downright theft.
They should say you heard it first on Charlton and Big C Sports, and it's funny because we talked about Brett Favre. He's going to be inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. As we're talking about Draymond Green and his camera falling down low when he was taking a picture, Big C. Well, Brett Favre did the same thing, but I wonder if they're going to bring that up when he accepts his enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And congratulations to Brett Favre. But I remember something, Big C, when we were at the Super Bowl, and I remember the NFL Network going down around there doing some commercials with the program that I was with at that time at Salem Media, and I met Lindsey Rose and also Terrell Davis, and there was Willie McGinnis, and they have a good program going on the NFL Network. We even had the network on our program at Salem Media. But what I'm going to say is this, Big C. There are things that we do that other people are doing too, and that's fine because with iHeartRadio Network, it's such a large platform worldwide, over 250 million people listening in their platform. I think the fact that when I hear a lot of people on TV, I think, is Big C on TV and he didn't tell me about it? Because they're like copying what you're saying, whether it's Jim Brown or Jason Whitlock or some of the other guys that are here talking about. But flattery is when you copy somebody. So again, that's why your 40 years of experience comes into play. But I also want to bring this up too, because when we talk about 40 years of experience, you have the Olympics. And down in Rio, can be a dangerous thing, even though they're hiding it from the media, Big C. I remember the 72 games we had some kidnappings go on. I think they're not being honest about what's really going on down in Rio, Big C. It's not the best place to be, but they're trying to cover that up. Your thoughts on that, Big C?
Charlton, it's not the best and safest place to be at any time of the year in Rio de Janeiro. Yeah. But now that we have this polarizing number of athletes from around the world and the money that's involved in bringing all these athletes together, everyone knows that Rio is a high crime area. It's run by gang lords and mafia that they have down in Rio, and it's a huge problem. Yeah. And so when you think about exposing these athletes, we all think about the tragedy of the 72 Olympics in Munich with the Israeli athletes that lost their lives from a kidnapping that occurred and a rescue that did not come out the way that everyone was hoping during that time, Charlton. But the Olympics went on, and we look at it now. You think about the NBA players, Charlton. They're not even going to stay on land. They have a luxury yacht that's been brought in to house all of the NBA players that are going to be playing. Think about the size of this boat, Charlton.
Yeah.
And all these beds that have to be 7 feet long for these guys to sleep in. So this is not some little dinghy that you go out on the lake and catch some, crappie with.
Right. Well,
this is a luxurious situation for them.
Well, it's funny. You ever walk into a bank, Big C? I know you guys down south, you put your money in coffee cans and bury it in the backyard.
Why do I need to go into the bank, Charlton? I go in my backyard all the time. The bank is always open.
Okay, but you know you're in that gated community too, so you have your same thing that the banks do. It's like down in Rio, if you've ever gone into a bank anywhere in the world, oftentimes they have their main customers on the outside of this glass wall, right? They have this 3-inch glass wall that's bulletproof, and all of the employees work behind that glass wall. Yet they tell you, welcome into our bank. They want you to feel safe. So why are you guys behind the glass? What are you not telling us? Now we have these professional athletes. They're on a boat. They're not in one of these luxury hotels. They're actually on a boat because they can secure themselves against anything that comes up on that boat, Big C. I just think that's funny that you brought that up because you really don't hear that on major networks, Big C. Your thought on that?
Well, not only that you can secure it, but you don't have to be stationary.
Yeah.
You can move that boat around to different places where it's not easy to track, Charlton. And you can have your security force going around in smaller boats, Charlton. So, the NBA players are glad to be in the Olympics.
Yeah.
But they're looking at their security more than looking at anything else. You bring this yacht in for the length of time, you're paying in excess of $1 million, Charlton, to house the NBA players. $1 million.
That's
we
incredible.
talked about organizations and athletics giving back to communities.
Yeah.
You're spending this for 10 days, Charlton, $1 million for housing. I mean, at their financial bracket, it's nothing.
Yeah.
But when you look at some of the money and the excessive waste that always occurs at the, think about how you can even help out the local people of Rio de Janeiro.
Oh, they don't care about that.
It's a very impoverished place, Charlton. We talk about the Zika virus going on down there, the pollution, the lack of clean drinking water for the local people, sanitation.
Yeah.
Think about how much money is going into the Olympics, but how little is going to improve the quality of life once the Olympics is over in Rio de Janeiro, Charlton.
Well, speaking of improving the quality of life, this segment is sponsored by your California Lottery. What could a buck do for you? And I tell you, I keep saying that we won the lottery at Big C, and I kind of had an attitude when I went into the clerk, and I said, I know I won the winning lottery numbers because Big C keeps telling me that we're going to win this thing. And he said, you show me your winning ticket. I pulled out a ticket. Well, the numbers didn't match. I kind of pulled an attitude, Big C, but they made me calm down when they brought out the big security guard. So don't have an attitude if you think you got the winning numbers in your phone.
You got to tell them, look, they made the mistake in selling you the wrong number.
This is not my ticket.
They got to get some math plays in there to get the calculation right.
That's true, Big C. So what a buck could do for you tonight's Powerball is about $40 million in California. But also I want to say this segment is also sponsored by United Labor Insurance. Guaranteed $100,000 life insurance with no medical questions. Also, we're endorsed by the American Heart Association and the American Cancer Society. I'm looking to hire 1,000 licensed insurance brokers throughout the country and in Puerto Rico to offer guaranteed life insurance. We work with all the unions in the United States under the AFL-CIO. Tweet out to Charlton and Big C Sports. If you're looking for work, we're trying to put people to work, okay? And also, I want to thank the iHeartRadio Network again for just having this platform that we have. We're the hottest growing sports show in the United States. Big C, I get so many people saying, well, who is Big C? How does this guy know so much? And I tell them that the guy's on moonshine or whatever it is. I don't know what you're putting in that moonshine, but you should bottle that because I know you guys have these secret recipes like Colonel Sanders. But I think if you tried to market that stuff, Big C, you might become even more wealthy, Big C. Your thoughts on that?
It helps me keep my six-pack. I spell six for the C.
Okay.
C-I-X. Okay?
Right.
That's why it's Big C. C-I-X. Six for my six-pack. You should see it through.
That's funny.
Something that I'd like to look at where we are right now, Charlton, everybody's going to training camp.
Yeah.
And everybody's talking about who's going to be good in the NFL. As we talk about practice. It means nothing realistically.
Yeah.
Because
okay, Allen Iverson.
Well, look at Brett Favre, okay?
Yeah.
Brett Favre last year didn't go to training camp with the Minnesota Vikings. He showed up 2 days before the first game.
Yeah.
2 days. He didn't throw a pass to anybody.
Right.
And even now, the NFL commissioner, after the preseason is over, said, what about Tom Brady?
Yeah.
You can't participate with any of your teammates. You can't watch film. You can't throw a pass to an NFL receiver. None of this.
Yeah.
You can't be in any NFL event. So he's going to go right from today to the first game that he plays is 57 days away, Charlton.
Yeah.
Okay, 57 days before he gets an opportunity to throw a live football to an NFL receiver. And we're going to find out if practice really matters once again because Brett Favre proved it. Where is he going on Saturday?
He's going to the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Okay, Tom Brady, we know he's going to end up there eventually, but you're going to find out in 57 days if practice really matters. And think about it, Charlton, all these high-priced quarterbacks around the NFL that when Brady shows up that are 1-3 or 0-4, and they've been in practice and in games.
Yeah.
What is their worth? At that point, you need to start cutting some of the shaft that they have in the NFL that they talk about great quarterbacks. You look at somebody like Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
Jay Cutler is only the second coming of Jeff George. Many people remember Jeff George, number one draft pick overall out of Illinois to the Indianapolis Colts. Played with several NFL teams, the Falcons, the Raiders. Never panned out. Had a great arm and a poor attitude.
A bad attitude, A lot of people.
Ryan Leaf out of
Washington State.
Behind Peyton Manning, number 2 draft pick.
Big
kid, cannon arm. Both of them white, all 3 of them white, Charlton. But they're bad attitudes, but they had these NFL careers and they made a lot of money. We look at it now. How many teams make the playoffs every year, Charlton? When we look at it, what is it, 14 teams make the playoffs? So that means it's like 18 of these high-priced quarterbacks sitting at home watching the game like you and I. Well, you go to the stadium, you can afford to get in.
Or they give me tickets, Big C. They give me press passes.
I'm hocking cable from the neighbor down the road. We went up on the pole and pulled some cable down. But, when you think about these 18 quarterbacks that everybody say are NFL quarterbacks, are they NFL quarterbacks, Charlton? Really?
Well,
when you look at a guy that's making $100 million, hasn't made the playoffs in 5-6 years. What makes him an NFL quarterback? The last time the Bears had a great quarterback was Josh McCown when Cutler was hurt.
Out of UCLA.
And they got rid of him and gave Cutler more money.
They're always doing that.
How do you justify that? And then when you have these African American quarterbacks, Charlton, Robert Grissom, the last 4 years he played, he took the Redskins to the playoffs as a rookie.
That's true. That's true.
And couldn't get paid, but got cut. So, and you look at young quarterbacks like Derek Carr out with the Raiders.
Excellent quarterback.
Who has lit up the league since coming in as a second-round draft pick.
Well, see, Big C.
And he hasn't gotten paid. So, they say, well, his contract status is not a... Pay a guy now that's performing.
They have to.
A guy that's not performing and you want to give him more money.
Well, see, someone that's a follower on our Twitter page is Lee Steinberg, the great sports agent. Hopefully we'll be having an interview coming up pretty soon when football season starts with Lee Steinberg. Also, he does a lot of work with Brendan Anderson covering Bay Area media. I also want to say that this segment is sponsored by Goosehead Property and Casualty. We beat about 98% of the people when it comes to a quote for your car or your home. Contact Charlton and Big C Sports by tweeting out to Charlton and Big C Sports. Also, I want to thank Becca, the Business Cupid, helping us hook up with some potential media sponsors and also getting some equipment for Charlton and Big C Sports. So, Becca, thank you very much for your hard work doing that. And also, Big C, I want to bring this up because it's always important to me. I never want to be just known as a sycophant jock. I never want to be known as just a guy that reads the scores. And I know that A-Rod, they're talking about A-Rod maybe giving his walking papers with the New York Yankees because they're kind of tired of him. Not because he hadn't been great in the past. It's about what can you do for me lately. I think Janet Jackson sang that song, got a lot of guys in trouble. What have you done for me lately? Now she's singing better than me. She made me think I could sing, Big C. But I want to get your thoughts on Alex Rodriguez. He's 41 years old. He's a designated hitter. But he's only batting .204, Big C. But the guy, none of his checks bounce, Big C. So now this is when we talk about these young athletes. Quit thinking that you don't need a college education. A-Rod's a multi-millionaire. Some people say he didn't do it clean, and no one knows. I didn't see any needles going to him. But we know that things go on in the business world. But this is what you always talk about, Big C. A-Rod is being treated like some of the athletes that are coming out of college. If they don't need you, you better have a backup plan. And on Charlton Big C Sports, we're telling everyone that the computer and learning the stock market is more important than the next pair of Nike tennis shoes. And we're still asking Phil Knight to donate that $1 million sponsorship for Charlton Big C Sports. You have my information, Phil, and I hope that you come back with the money, because we're out talking real sports talk. And why would you not want to be a part of this platform on iHeartRadio when we're going to give it to you real like nobody else can? So, Big C, your thoughts on A-Rod, the Yankees saying, hey, like Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? They want to get rid of him. Your thoughts on A-Rod, Big C?
Well, it's easy to use A-Rod as for the downfall of the Yankees.
Yeah.
You got Joe Girardi, who's the manager. You got Mike Teixeira at first base, who's making $26 million, who is not producing. It's very easy to point out a minority athlete when a team is not going well. I don't see the Washington Nationals, Charlton, at this point trying to get rid of Bryce Harper.
Right.
Bryce Harper, I think the last I looked, over a 3-week span was hitting $176.
Yeah,
that's
too much moonshine.
The best young player in baseball.
Yeah.
In whose eyes? I find $1.76 between my feet every time I get in there.
Right. That's funny that you bring that up, Big C, because even looking around the world of baseball, and the Dodgers with the Yasiel Puig and his story coming here.
He's been demoted to the minors, Charlton. They have broke him down, sending him to the minors because they say he would not do what they were asking him. I mean, I haven't seen the Dodgers in the World Series since when?
In 1988 against the Oakland A's. That's when Kirk Gibson had that walk-off home run and he had the bad leg, Big C. That's when they did that. But you look at Yasiel Puig, I mean, he's considered Dominican, but he doesn't have the benefit that they'll give the Caucasian athlete. The guy's a stud. I would love to see him play for the Giants because they're in the same division, but at the same time, he just needs someone to work with him as opposed to give up on him the way they give up on so many young African-American athletes. Also around the news in Major League Baseball in the American League, the Orioles 5, the Rangers 1. It was the Mariners 5 and the Red Sox 4. But I also want to thank Big Papi again because Big C, Big Papi's doing the same thing you talked about when he's doing for the Boston's kids, the kids in the Boston area. He's giving out phone calls saying, go to school, make sure you hit the books because school's important. Unlike the NFL that did this play 60 minutes a day garbage, I mean, everyone should get in shape. That's true. But we need to tell people to do what Marcus Garvey did. You got to read 60 minutes a day. And I think why Phil Knight's going to give Charlton and Big C Sports that $1 million sponsorship is because we're going to ask you not to just give Nike tennis shoes, but computers too. And if you're not doing it, we're going to get Reebok or Under Armour or somebody's going to do it. But I want to say this because with our platform, Big C, you really open my eyes on a lot of things. I know you drink a lot of moonshine, but you actually make a lot of sense. I want to you stay hydrated. I've never seen you not hydrated, Big C, so that's important too. But I want to make sure that platforms like ours, we actually give money back to schools. We actually tell kids what ESPN and Fox Sports are doing. They actually have a program out this week on this tutor that's working with athletes, like the movie with Sandra Bullock, Blindside. Well, Big C, you've been saying this for a whole year. Now, I've seen you on TV before, but I'm saying that this thing that you bring out, I see all your good old boy friends doing it now on TV. They're just not giving you credit for it. So if you're a parent and you have a kid that's being recruited by a major college, please make sure they show you the GPA of the kids they've already recruited. I want to get all the sports leagues, whether the Pac-12 or the Big Ten or the SEC, the ACC. When you go recruit a kid, you got to give back a computer to that school or at least to that family so we can start giving back to the inner city kids because that's predominantly where most of them come from. Big C, your thoughts on that because you brought it to my attention, Big C.
Well, Charlton, it should be paramount that the NCAA forces that issue. If you're recruiting a kid, is that you have to provide something back to the high school that this kid came from to help with the academic future of those who are still coming along. It's not, I mean, you think about what a college spends on a recruiting trip bringing in a kid, and kids are allowed 6 a year now. So by the time you buy this round trip ticket, accommodate them with the hotel and everything else that you do, it's way more expensive than a computer, Charlton.
Yeah.
But that computer continues to go, Charlton, more than 1 to 2 years. It can last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And be productive in a lot of lives. It will assist more than just one student, Charlton, if you put these into the schools. Or if you bring in 80 to 100 kids on recruiting trips.
Yeah.
Okay, you give back 80 to 100 computers back to these academic institutions of learning in high school.
Yeah, and that's so important.
And that's what we call social awareness, social responsibility, Charlton.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Well, see, and that's so important. Also, just getting back into baseball for Tuesday's games, we had the Baltimore Royals 5, the Texas 1, and then Detroit 11, the White Sox 5, Minnesota 10, Cleveland 6, Kansas City 3, Tampa Bay 2, the New York Mets 7, and the Yankees 1. And Big C, I also want to say, as we get into our final program today, I just think it's so important because I keep hearing it from other people. So I'm so proud of some of our brethren, and I know the guys are copying at ESPN and Fox, because I don't see just the dumb jock telling you the score now. And as a man of color, as an African American, I don't care what color you are. I have black and white in my family and Hispanic. So I don't care what color someone is, but I do believe this. If you have the power, whether you're Warren Buffett or Phil Knight or Paul Allen, if you have the ability to go into the inner cities and treat the inner cities like you're going into the Hamptons, or if you're going into Silicon Valley or Beverly Hills, most of those kids are successful because they grew up around computers. They grew up around reading, with learning math and science. A lot of the young black neighborhoods, they're just taught to play football and basketball and baseball and get bigger, stronger, and faster. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't have an athletic and an academic mind, you're going to be exploited. And the parents need to know that. And if you don't have the parents that can stand up for you, just listen to Charlton and Big C Sports. So just like talking to Phil Knight, and I know we're going to get that $1 million sponsorship from you. If not, we'll get it from Under Armour or Adidas. There's another company called G-File Textiles, and I'm working with them also. We can create logos for any sports team on the planet, or any insurance company, or any company that creates logos. I have some of the products now, and we're going to be launching that this fall. You can tweet up the Charlton and Big C for that. We're taking orders for all the teams, whether you're Pop Warner, whether you're a high school, college, or pros. But Big C, more important than that, and again, I want to credit you because I see people plagiarizing what you're saying. What's the reason that it's so important to you to give back to young kids when it comes to not just recruiting them, but leaving computers behind and knowledge? And before I get your answer, I just want to say that this segment is sponsored by One Life Insurance. I'm a life insurance broker for One Life America Life Insurance. We're the leaders in the country when it comes to final expense. And also, this segment is sponsored by BeneathHisWingsFoundation.org. Make a donation today. It's easy, it's fast and secure. And when it comes to promotions, contact Cynthia Evans of CYNN Entertainment. She's the best at promotions in Northern California. So, Big C, for the people that plagiarize you, and you're going to probably see what you talk about on Fox Sports or ESPN, what can we do to get these academic institutions, as well as Fortune 500 companies, to start investing in the inner cities the way they invest in jobs in China and India now, Big C? Your thoughts on that?
Well, Charlton, they just have to be realistic about life. You know, we think about how short professional careers are. All you hear about is a guy who's gotten a huge contract, and everybody thinks that everybody's making that kind of money, and it's not true.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll take you back to an NFL story that intrigues me continuously. You know, we talk about being at the Super Bowl this last year in San Francisco and Santa Clara.
Yeah.
And the NFL ran a commercial that week talking about that's enough or it's enough.
Yeah.
When they were talking about the abuse of women, and I want to direct this towards our female listening audience. The NFL felt by saying this for 1 week, it's enough, no more, that was enough.
Yeah.
But, you know, now I'm directing this towards the media out there, Charlton, when they talk about we need to have a social conscience, something that you and I have talked about forever.
Yeah.
Why was it only important for 1 week for the NFL to talk about domestic violence? It only lasted 1 week, where the NFL needs to be dealing with that every day. When you look at the number of players, not just the NFL, but the NBA, Major League Baseball, of players that have been involved in domestic violence against these women of America and of the world, Charlton.
Yeah.
This is not some fly-by-night scenario. When you bring up a social issue, it's like we've rolled the Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
The world is rioting that. But the biggest issue out there, Charlton, is domestic violence.
Yeah.
And the NFL only thought it was 1 week. If we do it for 1 week, then everybody says that we're all in on it.
Yeah.
They were all in during the Super Bowl, Charlton. They may have run a dozen commercials. But this happens every day when you think about the number of women that are abused and neglected, the children in America.
Yeah.
This is what these sports stations, Charlton, are responsible for. They need to have a social conscience about the issues of America. Yes, it's great to talk about sports.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic about life. Let's protect everybody. Everybody's life and health matters, Charlton.
Well, Big C, I appreciate that very much. And I hope they bring that subject up during the Hall of Fame because let's just be real. It's going to take men and women to stand up. If you're a woman and you're going through any kind of issue, call 911. I don't care how many times he apologizes. Just call 911. Let them talk to law enforcement. If you're a man, if you're knucklehead or if you're not knucklehead, we have to protect the women in our society. You know, whether it's our mothers or our daughters, our wives, girlfriends, no matter what. We got to make sure that violence is not tolerated. So we're going to hear the NFL bring that up again when the season starts off. But I hope they do it for more than just 1 week, Big C. And I also want to say, I want to thank everybody for listening to Charlton and Big C Sports because we're going to bring it to you every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time worldwide on the iHeartRadio network. And we listen to you worldwide. I want to tell you from London, England to Berlin, Germany, from Canada, whether you're in Australia or even Dubai. I want to thank you for following Charlton and Big C Sports on Facebook and also on Twitter. And you can tweet out to Charlton and Big C Sports and let us know your thoughts on what we can bring to you. Again, I want to tell you all, we love sports and we love talking about real talk. And we want to tell you we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.